Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. One of the truisms in government is that if you're going to make a claim, back it up. Make sure that the claim is real, especially one where the facts can be found out so very, very easily. Never lie when you can be provably a liar within seconds, because people do fact check, especially with the SNP, because nobody believes anything and so they fact check everything. So when the SNP government boasts about lower unemployment rates than the rest of the UK, all is not as it seems. Certainly it's about level. It was lower very slightly for a very short period, but that would have been seasonal work. But now it's back up to where it was. But other rates are worse. And so while they're trying to paint this rosy picture of how wonderful it is, even their own officials are saying that 16, nearly 17 years of SNP rule has made the economy worse. That's their own officials. So whatever boasts they're doing are clearly rubbish. But let's have a look at this, see what they're saying, and let's see what the figures really show, despite what they tell you. Here goes. So the Scottish Government are boasting about lower unemployment rates than the rest of the UK, despite a sharp rise last year. Now, it was a little bit lower, but it's risen. It's now about the same. But other metrics show it to be worse. And when you see the whole economy in the round, it goes to show that the SNP have been very, very harmful for the Scottish economy. And that will bear out as we go through this piece. The SNP executive looked at grim unemployment rate rises and compared it to the rest of the UK, while one civil servant aired concerns about the poor state of the Scottish economy. And I've got to say, only one civil servant. Oh, you'd have thought it would have been all of them. Anyway, the Scottish Government boasted that it had lower unemployment rates than the rest of the UK, despite experiencing a sharp rise between May and July last year. Officials admitted that the figures indicated the economy is in a poorer state after 16 years of SNP rule. Who would have thought that was the case? Who would sit there after nearly 17 years of SNP rule and thought, good Lord, the economy should be better than this. I wonder what the problem can be. Well, we know. The Office for National Statistics figures released last autumn showed that the unemployment rate for those aged 16 and above rose by 1.2 percentage points to 4.3%. It did fall down to 3.8 in the latest report between September to November last year. But that would, of course, be seasonal work. The season has finished and everyone's been fired again. But in briefing notes prepared for the SNP ministers about these grim economic news, civil servants used these low rates to compare the statistics with the UK, who also had 4.3% of people being unemployed, the same rate. They wrote, also, the unemployment rate is now matching the UK, whereas Scotland has been below the UK for over a year. And although Scotland's unemployment rate increased over the quarter and a year, Scotland still outperforms the UK 4% to 4.2%, so a 0.2% difference, and Scotland has a lower employment rate. So there are fewer people percentage-wise employed in Scotland, 74.2, whereas in the UK average it's 75.7. But it also has a higher inactivity rate, 22.6 to the UK's 20.9. So there's more people percentage-wise, per capita, not working or unable to work. And fewer people actually in work per capita. So it isn't all as, shiny as they're saying. Now, this tiny little difference in unemployment is because of the statistical lag. You've got all those people, like I say, in regional work. Not regional work. What's the word? Temporary work for over Christmas, say, getting that. They'll have gone. So the new figures will probably show it rising. And, of course, and this is the killer, all those extra taxes, all those extra burdens, that will lead to more people being made unemployed as shops close, things close, they close down. This is an upward trend. There's no getting away from it. It's an upward trend, and they know it. They say the latest statistics show potential softening in Scotland's labour market with a rise in unemployment, but there's still some resilience given economic pressures. The figures did reveal that the numbers of people who were classed as economically inactive dropped from 1.5 points to 21, dropped by 1.5 points to 21.4. So being economically inactive was higher. In emails clarifying the figures, one civil servant, amid great concern that the Scottish economy was struggling, he said, yes, people move from inactivity to employment and also into unemployment. So they are moving from inactive and not engaging with labour markets to actively seeking employment, which means from not working to still not working. And they just massage the figures to make it look better. But ultimately, they're still not working. And in fact, if you look at that, if you count everyone who's not working together, the rate of people not working percentage-wise in Scotland is higher than in England. And that is where the lies start. They start massaging those figures. And that, of course, is where the madness is. He said the rise in unemployment indicates a difficulty in finding a job, which will become even more difficult as more shops close, more bars lay people off because of the pressures. And he says the economy is in a poor state. So the large increase in unemployment is negative. And it will continue to get worse. All these new taxes take a burden. Taxes cost jobs. If you are a business and you've got to find extra money, how do you do it? The easiest way, fire someone. It's the easiest way of doing it. If you're a bar that's got 6 members of staff, well, 5 of them are going to have to work slightly harder because you've got to fire one of them. And that is the reality. The statistics also revealed that out of the 4 UK nations, Scotland scored poorly with the joint highest unemployment rate, the second highest employment rate, and the second lowest inactivity rate. But out of the 12 regions of the UK, Scotland has the joint 5th highest unemployment rate, the joint 5th highest employment rate, and the 6th lowest inactivity rate. Fairly middling then. Everything's about 6. So yeah, but sluggish economic growth is what the SNP have previously been accused of and are continued. And with the nationalists blaming the UK government for this. It's not the UK government putting up your taxes though, is it? It's not the UK government bringing in more bureaucracy. It's not the UK government insisting now supermarkets have to charge more for their products. This is the latest bout of grim economic news under the SNP, and he says, and the Tories, but of course it's not the Tories ruling Scotland. Climbing rates of unemployment will weaken our economy and cause yet more misery for those pushed out of work by SNP policies. Humza Yousaf promised to prioritise economic growth, but his government's record is one of relentless economic mismanagement, and that mismanagement will continue. They're all useless, none of them know what they're doing, and they keep looking for different things to blame. But unemployment in Scotland is on the rise. It will continue and it will get up, I reckon, on the next measurement to over 5%. And that is terrible. Coming up. This is that example of spin and bollocks. Oh, look, our unemployment rate is very, very slightly higher, but our not actually working rate is much higher. If you're not working, you're not working. It doesn't matter how you call it, but they massage the figures. They spin, they gloss, they change things. Just simply this. Look at the percentage of the population working, detract that from 100, and that is the people not working. And Scotland's number is bigger. Why? Because the economy is failing because of massive taxes, bureaucracy, red tape, bullshit, bluster and bollocks. And all because the SNP have to inveigle themselves and put themselves into every single business, every single sector, every single company. I'm surprised companies don't have political officers all assigned by the SNP, much the same way as Soviet-era Russia did. But that's what's damaging the economy, and it isn't going to get better while that bunch are still in charge. You're going to lose your job. The whole thing is collapsing. Grangemouth. You wait till Grangemouth goes. There's a lot of jobs. And then they want to attack the coal industry, the steel industry, the oil industry, the farming, fishing, everything. Everything is being attacked. This will lead to mass unemployment. They won't be making these claims soon. You need to stop it. And if you work in Scotland, if you've got a job, you need to vote other than the SNP, because otherwise, very soon, you won't have a job. I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I will speak to you later.